Here are 6 tips to get your open source project more stars and more contributors. Tip number 1, spam it all over the place on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. Spam your link and ask people to star it. Actually, I'm joking. Please do not do that. It does the opposite. It kind of drives people away. Occasionally, you might ask people to do it once you've got a bit more traction in a kind of a polite, funny way. But to be honest, there's a better way you can do that, and I'll share that tip right at the end. So definitely don't do that to begin with. And if you want to do it later on, after you've done these other steps, then you could do it occasionally. So don't spam Discord, Twitter, and so forth, please. So tip number 1, the real tip. Make sure you explain in the description on here what the project is about. People, when they first come to your project, need to understand within a few seconds what it is. Because once you get them there, if you can't keep them there, then it's kind of no point getting them there. So that's what you really need to do. So make sure that's short, concise, and explains what the project does. Number 2, have a screenshot in the README. This is the next place people are going to go. They want to see what it looks like. Screenshot, animated GIF, video, whatever it is, have something. You don't need 100 of them, don't have too many. Have 1 or 2 showing what the project's about, and then that will again kind of hook them into looking into it further. Tip number 3, check that you've got a quick start guide and tech stack and those sorts of things and good documentation. Make sure your onboarding process is really good. And you're never going to get this right first time. It's going to take lots of practice and lots of iterations. And the only way you can do this is by getting people to come and contribute and you asking them for feedback. Like I always say, when someone's new to the project and they say, hey, can you explain to me a bit about the project? No! Have a look at our documentation, have a look at our README. Can you tell me about the project? And if you can't, there's nothing wrong with you, there's something wrong with our project, and you can help us fix it because you've got that fresh perspective. So when people come to your project, say to them, does it make sense? If it doesn't, find out why, chat with them, collaborate with them, and make those improvements. Those small improvements will add up and will make it better for the next person that comes after it, and you can do the process again and keep making it better and better. I mean, if you look at the LinkFree project, some people say, hey Eddie, your onboarding process is really good. Well, 1, we've had loads of help from people, so thank you all very much in the community, you've all been awesome. And 2, some of these files have got thousands of contributions because it's just iterated on and improved over time. Right, move on to the next one. Next, check your Insights tab. It's really, really important, and go to the community standards. And have a look and make sure you've got checks on these things. Description, I mentioned that, and you can see it's here right at the top. Then the README, then code of conduct, license, contributing file. Those are super important. Issue template is a benefit, and so is pull request, and they can come later on. Those templates are useful, but they don't have to start off with those straight away. But talking about issues, make sure you use issues. People search GitHub for issues, and they also search GitHub for issue labels. So make sure you're using labels. Make sure you're using good first issue labels, because that's what people search GitHub for. But don't abuse it. Don't use a good first issue label when it's not a good first issue. A good first issue needs to have lots of details and step-by-step guide for someone who's not familiar with the project to be able to do the issue. So it's really important that your good first issues will probably take you more time than actually to make the changes yourself, but you're onboarding someone and getting them comfortable with your project and you, and therefore they can make even more contributions later on. Tip number 6, I think we're on number 6 now. Have you been counting? Automate as much as possible. Again, you're not going to get this right first time, but automate as much as you can. Make sure the project builds, make sure the lint runs. If anything's not quite right, therefore in the pull request, the author will get feedback straight away. It'll make your life easier, their life easier. So when you do have that conversations, which I really want you to have those conversations, it's going to be on the important stuff, not commas missing, spacing's wrong, all that sort of stuff. You want to have collaboration, but on the good and important stuff. So automate as much as possible. And as more questions come up, as more challenges come up, you can improve your documentation and you can automate more and more. I hope that helps. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below what you think and what your tips are to getting more stars to open source projects. I look forward to geeking out with you in the Eddie Hub Discord, link in the description below.